Why save the Garry Oak ecosystem, you may ask? Well, I'm Ty.
And I'm Shaun. We are high school students and we want to help protect our ecosystem. Here's us hugging the tree. Lots of love towards the Garry Oak ecosystem. What is the Garry Oak ecosystem, you may ask? There's me with my orange hair.
Well, the Garry Oak ecosystem is a very diverse ecosystem consisting of over 118 different species of plants. There's some birds, yep, and there's an animal. I think that's a squirrel, and there's some insects, yep, that are bees. So that is the Garry Oak ecosystem. Hooray!
This is our island. And this is where the Garry Oak ecosystem used to inhabit. We have now lost most of that Garry Oak ecosystem and only 1 to 5% is left. So you may ask, why is it on the decline?
Well, I'm going to tell you. So here's the Garry Oak ecosystem, and there are some pretty flowers, some meadows. It's always good. Created by the first level of succession. So the number one threat is development. Yes, that's right, development. And other threats are invasive species like ivy. So the third threat is fire suppression. So as you can see, there's no fire. So I'm just going to erase that because, there's no. So it's bad that there's no fire suppression because the First Nations used fire to maintain meadows. As you can see, it's the first primary succession with the blue camas bulbs, and they encourage the bulbs to grow and deer to browse because they adapted to their environment and they like their environment. So as you can see, I'm drawing some bulbs because, they use them, they cooked them, and they love them. So that is the cultural importance, and we will go on further with that. So, as you saw before, the main food source is the blue camas. Yeah, so there's the stem, there's the green part, and there's the blue for the blue camas, and that is the root that the First Nations would eat.
The First Nations love their blue camas. In order for them to eat it, though, they have to cook it in a pit. Shown here, they would have hot rocks and they'd place them in the bottom and then have some, the stuff that they'd put on top, yeah. And then they did this to break down the insulin into fructose, which their body can use. And yeah, here's the layers, the little blue camas bulbs, and the layers of it. And once they would cook this food, they would take it in their journeys, and they would also trade it and plant it in other locations. And they covered up. There you go.
There's Jake's hand. So here's a picture of the Garry Oak meadows, the Camas meadows, the Garry Oak ecosystem. But when the British came to Victoria, they noticed the Camas meadows and they saw it as a waste for civil use. So they planted farms, as you can see by the brown humps. They also saw it, and there is the governor. But they also saw it as a waste for farmland, as you can see, and civil use. So they put on houses and they added civilization.
So you may be asking yourself, what can you do to protect this Garry Oak ecosystem? There's some guys, and he's like asking. There's me, of course, asking Ty, what can you do to help?
Well, Shaun asked me what I can do, and I will tell you. You can take out invasive species, right? Like the broom or English ivy. You can pull them out of the ground and be happy because you're helping the environment. Well, here's the Garry Oak ecosystem, the meadows. So what you also can do to protect your Garry Oak ecosystem is by preventing invasive species and human development, and protect the native plants and animals and insects by resisting the use of pesticides, or preventing, the invasive species by putting up barbed wire fences or in a watchtower, and, preventing stuff from coming in.
In addition to that, you can also educate others to pass on the word of the Garry Oak ecosystem, how to protect it. And there's a guy yelling at him, telling him to protect the Garry Oak ecosystem. And there's David Trudell. He's turned into a nature-loving man.
Yeah, so there's David Truvell, happy about us protecting protecting the Garry Oak ecosystem and the Camas Meadows. So, there is me, and that's Shaun, and we are high school students, and we wanted to educate everybody about the cultural historical significance, the ecological significance, and what you can do to help.